Hi, I'm Jason at Harrelson Trumpets, and today we are looking at a Summit One trumpet that I built many years ago. This came in on trade. I'm really excited to show you this horn, mainly because it's one of the earliest Summit One trumpets I built. It features a sculpted theme throughout. It's got a really nice patina. It's in pretty decent shape, and we're going to check it out, play it for you, and just explain some of the features and differences between this and one of our new horns. This horn is for sale on our website, and it could be yours. So this was built on September 4th, 2011. I'm going to pull this close to the camera. See if we can get any of that in there. Well, it's engraved right there, and I didn't get my lighting in the right spot. Maybe I did. So September 4th, and this is what the top bracing looks like on the Summit One. It's really intricate. This is the first generation of that bracing, and that's the receiver logo. It's actually really nice and crisp. It's raised here. The finger rings have that same theme to them. So this horn was one of the early ones where I built the tuning slide. We had done double-blind studies on tuning slide shapes, and as most of you know, you can get a square, a semi-round, or a round slide from a standard manufacturer like maybe Schilke or Bach or Kahn. Think back from the 60s and 70s, more of those options really existed within the same horn back then compared to today. But you can still get round and semi-round slides on a Bach trumpet. And we did a study where we showed someone tuning slides. And we said, pick from these tuning slides, which one do you think would be the most open in the upper register? Which one would be the most comfortable playing all around? All these questions. Then we had them play some horns, and they didn't know which tuning slides were on the horns. Well, it turned out almost everyone, like 80% of the people, really liked a perfectly round looking tuning slide. In their mind, they said that one should play the most open in the upper register. And the one that played the most open in the upper register was a semi-round. The one that was the tightest in the upper register was the round. So here you have all these people thinking they're going to buy a round slide because it's going to make it open in the upper register, when in reality it makes it feel tight. So I can explain how and why that happens, and I have done so many times before. But the story that I'm getting to right now is that the elliptical tuning slide that we use today was the result of one of those studies where we learned that this shape had a better impedance variation match to the player playing from low to high. So in other words, it's easier to feel comfortable playing low to high on this shape of a slide. So this was the first generation style A. So that's what makes this significant. Now that was only 8 years ago, so 2011. We've been moving very quickly. We've done lots of other slides since then. They all basically have a similar shape because impedance-wise that works, but the outer structure and the wall thickness and the bracing within it, all of those things have changed over time. So we still offer a style A tuning slide, but it's thicker and more improved version of this one. So this is the lightest version we ever made. This horn is a lead pipe 4, which was a drawn lead pipe back then. It was not machined. And it has a second tube over top, and the entire thing was filled with lead in between the two. It's got our extra long receivers, fully sculpted. And the original Summit Ones were fairly light horns. This is not a heavy horn at all. And it's very comfortable to play for long periods of time. The truth is the new Summit One, which we're just finishing up that series, also isn't very heavy. Even though a lot of people think they look heavy, they're not. So this Summit One is pretty lightweight. It's got the number 6 bell on it, which is a pretty wide taper, and it produces a warm, full, colorful sound that doesn't lean to be too dark or too bright. It's right in the middle, has a lot of core to the sound. It's really just good for everything. This horn is set up so you could put your ring finger or your middle finger in the third slide. We have Saturn water keys, which just press from any direction. There's a ball inside there that moves out of the way. The condition of this horn, like I said, is pretty good. There are a couple little dings in the crook and a couple places in the bell. I believe I can roll most of this out. So once it's up on the website, by the time you see this video, all of that work will have most likely been done. There may be very slight things left, remnants of that. But in terms of the crooks, the first, second, and third crooks, there's nothing to fix. So that's really the problem areas. There are a couple things in the bell crook, so the majority of that will probably be completely gone by the time you see this horn. You're welcome to visit us here in Denver, Colorado, and play test the horn. I'm going to play a few notes, and then we'll move on to the next one. Now I need to mention that I'm playing my 5mm modular mouthpiece, and it's unfair to judge the horn based on which mouthpiece configuration I have. So I do have a full set of mouthpiece parts here, and we're going to break them out and play variations, because I know for a fact what I have in here is massive. So I'm going to get a big sound out of this horn because I have a 190 diameter throat, which is very large compared to what most people have ever played. And I should mention, the venturi is stamped on this horn, so the venturi of the lead pipe is 345, 345 thousandths of an inch. Alright, so like I said, it's a very large venturi. I am going to set the horn down, and I'm going to grab my mouthpiece kit, which maybe you guys can see. I don't know. I'm just going to hold it up here quick. So I do have variations of rims, cups, throats, backbores, and even the body. And I'm going to take my mouthpiece apart, tell you what I played on, and then change it up. So that was a really big broad sounding setup. The throat is an F190-22. That's huge. Even most Monet Pranas are not that big. And then the backbore was a 22-37. So those are extremely large. I'm just going to change the throat and the backbore to something a little more reasonable. Here's an F145-21. The 145 is the throat diameter. I had a 190, I'm moving down to 145. And I'm going to put in a 21-31 backbore, which is not the smallest that we make, but it's a smaller size. So now let's hear it again. So now I'm getting more brightness, more focus. More focused. It's a very clear sound, whereas before I had a lot of spread. You could hear some fuzziness. So that's the difference in the mouthpiece setup. Now this mouthpiece is much closer to probably about a 2C. So that gives you some reference. The mouthpiece I had before would have been bigger than anything Bach makes in terms of the throat and the backbore. So it's not really comparable to anything else. So this is the Summit One. I want to thank you for joining me. We have lots of other horns that we're going to review, so check out our other reviews and have some fun.